Hi friends, welcome to Let's Learn Civil Engineering Classroom. In this video, we are going to understand the concept of forebearing and backbearing. For more videos, please subscribe the channel and click the bell button for further notification. Now let's see what is forebearing and backbearing. Before knowing the topic in detail, we need to understand what is the concept of bearing, or what is bearing. Bearing simply refers to an angle, as we know that angle is made between two lines if the lines are intersected. Here also there exist two lines. For a bearing there exist two lines and the lines are intersected at a point, and the angle is formed between that two lines, but the line in which one line is a meridian and the other line is a survey line. So if an angle is said to be a bearing, the angle should be formed between a meridian and a survey line. The meridian may be a magnetic meridian, a true meridian, or an arbitrary meridian. Now for understanding the forebearing and backbearing, we need to name the line in terms of the direction of the survey. That is, line AB and line BA are same in its terms of its length. That is, line AB will be equal to line BA for a survey line if the length are equal. But for understanding the concept of forebearing and backbearing, the line AB and line BA is not same in terms of its bearing. That is, if a line AB means the direction of the survey is from A to B, and if a line BA means the direction of the survey is from B to A. So in terms of bearing, in terms of forebearing and backbearing, the line AB and BA is not the same. That means if a line AB means the starting point of the line AB is at A and the end point is at B. But for a line BA, it means the starting point of the line is at B and the end point is at A. So this is very much important in understanding the concept of forebearing and backbearing. So keeping this on mind, we are moving to tell the definition of the forebearing and backbearing. So now I said earlier that the forebearing, for understanding the concept of forebearing and backbearing, the direction of the traverse or the direction of the survey is important. So you can see in the first figure that the direction of the survey is in clockwise direction. That is, the survey is taking from A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to A. So if we are taking any line in this traverse, that is, for instance, we take the line AB, the starting point of the line is at A and the end point is at B. For if you take the line BC, the starting point is at B and the end point is at C. So here in this first figure, the direction of the traverse in clockwise direction. So if we consider the second figure, here the direction of the traverse in anti-clockwise direction. That is, the survey starts, if the survey starts from A, then the survey goes to D, C, B, A, etc. That is, the direction of the survey is in anti-clockwise direction. We can see that if we consider a line AD, here the starting point of the line is at A and the end point is at D. Consider a line DC, the starting point is at D and the end point is at C. So the direction of the survey is very much important in understanding the concept of the forebearing and backbearing. So now let's see what is forebearing and backbearing. First of all, what is forebearing? A forebearing is a bearing formed at the starting point of a line. If a bearing is formed at the starting point of a line, it is called as forebearing. As we know that the bearing is formed between a meridian and a line. So let's consider a line AB. So you can see that there are 2 points A and B. The first one is a starting point A and the end point is at B. So if the bearing is formed at the starting point, that is at the point A, we call it as the fore bearing. Since I set the line AB because the line because the direction of the survey is from A to B. So if the direction of the survey is from A to B, the bearing formed at A is called as the fore bearing. Okay. So now let's see what is back bearing. The same concept, it is adopted to the end point. That is, the bearing is formed at the end point of a line. It is called as the back bearing. So we know that from the given figure, the direction of the survey is from A to B. So the starting point is at A and the end point is at B. So for a back bearing, the bearing is formed at the end point, that is at the point B. So we know that the survey line is formed in different quadrants. As you can see that the fore bearing of this line is less than 90 degree. This angle is less than 90 degree. That means the angle is formed at the first quadrant. If this angle is greater than 90 degree and less than 180 degree, it is in the second quadrant. If it is in between 180 to 270, it is in the third quadrant. If it is between 270 and 360, it is in the fourth quadrant. So the traverse line will be in any quadrant depending upon the bearing of the line. Okay. So for instance, let's see what will happen to the fore bearing and back bearing if the line is formed at the first quadrant. The line is formed at the first quadrant means the fore bearing is at the first quadrant. Okay, so in the first quadrant, so we can see the figure here. The fore bearing is less than 90 degree. It means the line is formed at the first quadrant. So what will happen to the back bearing if the fore bearing is in the first quadrant? So the back bearing, as we know that if we extend the line AB, the angle formed here will be same as formed at the end point B. The angle formed between the meridian and the line AB extended will be the same, as we know that it is the corresponding angles. So the only difference between the bearing at A and bearing at B, that is the fore bearing and back bearing, is if the bearing fore bearing is added with 180 degree, there obtain the back bearing. So for the first quadrant, the back bearing will be equal to the fore bearing plus 180 degree. Okay. So considering the second quadrant, in second quadrant we know that the line is formed between 90 and 180 degree. This angle and the line AB extended will be the same. The only difference is 180 degree. So if we have the fore bearing, then we can find the back bearing as the fore bearing plus 180 degree. So for the first quadrant and the second quadrant, if the fore bearing is formed at the first quadrant and the second quadrant, the back bearing is finding out by adding 180 degree to the fore bearing. If we consider the third quadrant, that is the starting point is at here, I consider the line as AB and the starting point is at A. So the bearing formed at the point A is called as the fore bearing. So here the fore bearing is the angle formed from the meridian towards the survey line. So for the third quadrant, we can see that if the line AB is extended, the line BA is extended, we can see this angle and this angle are equal. So if we have this much angle, to find the back bearing, we need to subtract 180 degree from the fore bearing of the line. So the similar concept also working in the fourth quadrant. This is the line AB. The line AB is in the fourth quadrant, since the angle is between 270 degree to 360 degree. So here also, to find the back bearing of the line, the fore bearing is subtracted by 180 degree. So for third and fourth quadrant, the back bearing is find out by subtracting 180 degree from the fore bearing. Okay, so in general we can say that the back bearing can be found out by fore bearing plus or minus 180 degree. So use plus sign if the forebearing is less than 180 degree, and use minus sign if the forebearing is greater than 180 degree. That is, if a line is formed in the first and second quadrant, that is the angle between 0 to 180 degree, the forebearing is less than 180 degree. So to find the back bearing, add 180 degree to the forebearing. If the line is formed between 180 to 360 degree, that is the forebearing of the line is greater than 180 degree, subtract 180 degree in order to get the back bearing. Okay, so here I show an example. If the forebearing is formed at the first quadrant, that is 45 degree 30 minutes, since the forebearing is less than 180 degree, add 180 degree to obtain the back bearing. Similarly, if the line comes in the second quadrant, here also the forebearing is less than 180 degree, add 180 degree to obtain the back bearing. In the third case, the angle is formed in the third quadrant, that is 227 degree 20 minutes. Here the forebearing is greater than 180 degree, hence subtract 180 degree to obtain the back bearing. Also in the fourth case, the angle is formed in the fourth quadrant, that is between 270 and 360 degree. Here also the forebearing is greater than 180 degree, hence subtract 180 degree to obtain the back bearing as 120 degree 0 minutes. This is also same if we take vice versa, that is the back bearing is 225 degree 30 minutes. Since we know that the back bearing is greater than 180 degree, to obtain the forebearing, just subtract 180 degree to obtain the forebearing. Hence this conversion is also applicable in vice versa also. Hope you understand the concept of forebearing and back bearing. If you have any doubt, please comment below. Thank you for watching the video.